Hello everyone, it's Nell with Little Yellow House Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a little longer than I intended. It's been, I think the last video I posted was the end of January and it is now March, sorry I shook the table, March the 11th. It is a Sunday and I thought I would take the opportunity to film a little update because this is probably the last update you're going to get from me for a while. Because I'm having a baby. I know that's what everybody wants to know. I am 38 weeks now, so we are 2 weeks away from the due date. No idea if this little boy is going to come sooner or later, but I doubt I'm going to be able to film another video before he's born. So let me give you a little bump shot, because I know everybody wants to say the bump. Oh, guys, I'm so pregnant. Look at how much baby that is. So that is my 38-week belly. Dresses and yoga pants are my preferred clothing most days these days. I'm usually kind of a jeans and a t-shirt kind of mom. I don't know. I'm not really super stylish on a day-to-day basis, but I'm just a jeans and t-shirt kind of mom, but right now even my maternity jeans just are too tight. So I wear a lot of dresses and I wear a lot of yoga pants, maternity yoga pants that come way up over the belly and are nice and comfy. We are doing well. Everything is healthy so far. I've been having lots of contractions, especially in the evenings, and some of them feel more labor-like than Braxton Hicks, so who knows? He may come anytime now. My older two boys both came 2 weeks late, so I'm trying not to get too antsy because my history is against me, but you never know. I've had a lot more contractions with this pregnancy, and they've started earlier than they have with my other two, so he could come anytime. So we're striking while the iron is hot and going to do an update video. I do have a lot of stuff to show you. I've done a lot of stitching. In the last month, we had the Olympics, which was super fun, and that's all we did for that 2 weeks. We watched the Olympics every night, and I stitched. And I mostly stitched on one piece during the Olympics, and I'll show you which one, because it allowed me to not have to concentrate too hard, because I loved watching the Olympics. And I'm really sad they're over. I was so, like, blue when they ended. What am I gonna do now? But we've gone back to normal routine, but it was really fun to get to watch the Olympics. So I don't think I have any other life updates for you. I've been keeping busy. This is going to be exciting for some of you don't care, but for some of you this will be exciting news. I have started sewing another batch of bags. I've had this batch of project bags cut with their zippers and everything ready to go since before we moved last summer. The problem was I got pregnant and I was so nauseated and queasy, and I wasn't even cross-stitching, much less sewing bags. And so it really got kind of pushed on the back burner. And just in the last month, I had kind of this itch to start sewing again. So I've been sewing bags. I'm about halfway through this batch. I think I have about 15 of them done. When the batch is finished, I will take pictures, and I don't know when it will be posted again because I'm having a baby, but we're a lot closer than we were. So if you have been patiently waiting, I think I have almost 1,000 people now in my Facebook group wanting to buy project bags, and every once in a while someone will message me, are you gonna post any bags anytime soon? Sorry, just life. But I am having a baby, so I don't know when they will be posted, but I have been sewing again, so that's good news. But let's talk about cross-stitching. I have 2 small finishes. Probably you can guess which ones they are. I have been continuing to work on my little monthly series that I started back in January. I had a hard time with these this month. I don't know why, but I struggled so much with my greens in February, and I just couldn't pick the right color greens. What I mean is, like, I've been swapping out colors for Victorian Motto threads or other over dyes and kind of making my own color palette, and I just struggled so much with my greens. I could not find the right combinations for these. And of course, these are the March installments, so there's a lot of green in these, and oh, it was hard. But I finally settled on things that I'm pretty happy with. I still don't know that they're perfect, but whenever is anything perfect, really. So they are mine, they are unique. I'm happy with the greens I chose, but oh, it was a struggle. And it kind of killed my stitchy bug to work on these for a few weeks because I just could not find the right greens. But I did eventually find the right ones for me. And so I went ahead and stitched my March Cottage for the Cottages of the Month by Country Cottage Needleworks. I've seen a lot of people working on these. They're super quick and fun, and they stitch it beautifully. I didn't make any major changes in the color palette of this one, but I did swap out threads, and I will show you the ones that I used. So here is March. And you're probably not going to be able to tell in the video, but in the model, the house is done in a more limey green within the dark green accents, and I went more for kind of a pale minty green with the dark green accents. It's not super different, honestly. This was the combination that I liked the best. Seriously, I pulled out every green over dye, every green Victorian Motto thread I had, every green DMC, and sat there trying to find a combination that I liked. And this was the one that I liked the best. I struggled. I wanted it really springy, and the DMC colors that were recommended for this were a little too muted. They were in the 37s. Yeah, 3347 and 3348, which they list as yellow-green medium and yellow-green light. And they are, but they weren't springy enough for me. They weren't bright enough. They were a little too muted. And so I went for brighter colors. So here's one more look, and then I'll tell you which greens I used. You can see in that darker green that it definitely has an over-dyed effect. And in fact, most of these colors are over-dyes. Same with the brown in the roof. You can really see it. In fact, the only color on here that's not an over-dye is the white, which is just B5200. But here's what I used, because inevitably someone always asks. So I will go ahead and show you, because it's fun to look at pretty threads. Most of what I used were Victorian Motto threads. I did use one Classic Colorworks. I used Classic Colorworks Caterpillar for the dark windows, the sheep, and then I added the doorstep. If you're stitching these, you know it's kind of odd. The doorstep is left blank. There's no color there, which feels sort of weird to me, but it's that way in all of the charts, so it's not a mistake. So I've just been putting in doorsteps in whatever color seems to make sense. So I used the Caterpillar for the windows, the doorstep, and the sheep. Everything else is a Victorian Motto thread. So my lighter minty green is Victorian Motto Lime Essence, which is that lighter, and it's called Lime Essence, and it's definitely got some limey undertones in it. It's not like a pale blue mint. It's definitely a lime mint green, but it's almost like a light spearmint, if you want to call it that color. It reminds me of pistachio ice cream. Everything reminds me of food these days. Hashtag pregnant. My darker green is Mint Julep, also by Victorian Motto. So you can see they look really nice together. They're in the same color family. One's just much lighter than the other. For the roof and the light browns, I used Amazing, and maize is spelled like corn. So there's Amazing, and this has got a really pretty variegation, you can see. So that's Amazing. And then for my pink flowers, I used Dollhouse, which is a nice kind of peachy rose. And then for the yellow, I used Yellow Stargrass, which is just a beautiful buttery yellow. It's not too lemon. It's definitely, it's not, there we go, it's a little better. It's definitely more of a butter yellow. It's not a lemon. So those are the colors I used for my March Cottage, and I'm really happy with it. For the amount of time I spent struggling with my greens, I was really worried I'd get to the end and be like, I still hate it. I don't. I like it. So that was a success. The other small finish I have is the March installment of the Snowflower Diaries Joyful World style, which I have been working on. This is my favorite one so far that I've done, and I think it's because it's so colorful and springy. Again, I swapped out pretty much all the colors for other things I wanted. Her design for these with the Gentle Arts threads that she calls for is much more primitive in style, and it's beautiful. So if you love primitive, man, go with her called for colors. I tend to be more drawn to vibrant, kind of bright colors, and so I did alter the colors for myself, and here is March. It's so cute. We've got a little like stork and a baby chick, and then lots and lots of flowers. And again, I struggled with these greens, guys. I could not find the right greens, and I'm still not 100% sure I chose correctly, but I like how it all looks together. So I'm just gonna let go of my OCD on this one and be happy with the greens I chose. I ended up going with DMC greens for this one because I just couldn't settle on the right color greens. This lighter green in particular was hard because I wanted it to be lighter than the dark, obviously. I wanted it to be springy, but everything I tried that was a spring green was either too yellow or too blue or too gray. This one pulls ever so slightly too neon for me, but in the whole piece, like all together as a whole, I think it goes really well, so I'm just letting it go. So that's March. I don't have the original to show you because it's online, but I will show you the threads I used. So here we go. There's lots of colors in this one, so buckle up. We'll start with the Victorian Motto threads I used. I used 4 Victorian Motto, and then the rest are a combination of DMC and some other overdyes. So the Victorian Motto, 5 of them, excuse me. The 2 blues in this, there's a lighter blue and a darker blue. I used multi-shaded blue for the light, and then Beach Cottage for the dark. And this is one that I used in January's Cottage of the month as well. It's just a nice kind of gray blue. I used that in the water. And then the brown for the frame and the word March is this one, which is a beautiful like chestnut brown. It's got hints of red in it. And this is called Audubon Medley. It's a really pretty brown, really rich chestnut color. Then my pink, I used a nice vibrant bright pink called Columbine. So pretty. And then for the peach, in a few of the flowers, we have Shaded Salmon. Just a really pretty, it's kind of washing out in the light. There you go. Shaded Salmon. So those are the 5, those are the 5 Victorian Motto threads I used for that. And then the rest of these are DMCs, obviously B5200 for the white. Here's my greens that I struggled with so much. I used 905 and 907, which, like I said, that 907 pulls ever so slightly to neon lime green for me, but as a whole, I think it looks good, so I was happy with those. And then for the black, I used Weeks Dye Works Coal, and that's mostly in the crane. For the yellow throughout, I used Butternut Squash from Gentle Arts, which is almost gone. Almost out of that one. And then for my orange, I used Weeks Dye Works Clockwork. So those are the colors I used. Here it is again. I'm really happy with it. Considering how long and hard I struggled with the greens, I'm happy with how it turned out. This is stitched on 28 count casual linen in Rue Green, And the Cottage of the month, someone always asks, and I say it every time, but in case you're wondering. Also 28 count casual linen in the color Dirty. Both of those linens are by Zweigart. So there you go. Those are my 2 finishes. Small finishes, but I earned those finishes, man. I struggled so hard with the greens. Okay, next thing, I had another start. It's not a finish, but last year or the year before, for Easter time, I started a Prairie Schooler pattern called Vintage Eggs. And if you remember, it's all on black Aida, and they're really beautiful. And I finished all 8 of them. And I have the companion piece that matches it and goes with it, and that is Folk Eggs. So I started Folk Eggs, and I'm pretty sure Cindy from Cindy's Cross Stitch also started this, or she started Vintage Eggs. Either one or the other. I don't remember, Cindy, but I'm pretty sure you started either this one or Vintage Eggs. I love these. I love how they look stitched on the black. They're absolutely beautiful. So I went ahead and started mine, and it's still on my little tiny 6x6 Q-snap, so let me pull it off. I finished one of the eggs, which is all wrinkled because it was folded up in the Q-snap holder. And then I started the second one. So I finished the little bunnies, and I changed the color of the flowers. They are charted to be in the kind of pinky red color right here. And I wanted to pull in some purple. There's no purple in this particular pattern, but there is purple in the Vintage Eggs pattern. And so I wanted to pull that same purple into these. So I decided to go ahead and make these flowers purple. So there's the bunnies and the carrots and the purple flowers. And then I started this one, which has a little barn and some sheep. Actually, I don't think these are sheep. Michelle, I think they're goats. I was looking at the pattern, and clearly the ram that I have not stitched yet, this is clearly a goat. I think this is a ram, but I was looking at these guys, these 3 that I have stitched, and they have kind of a tan head, and I think those are goats. I think they're meant to be goats. So I'm thinking of Michelle, farm girl, as I stitch my goats and this cute little barn. Oh my goodness. Red, yellow, and blue barn. How adorable. And I love these back stitched butterflies and the bird on top. Prairie Schooler, man. Prairie Schooler, man. So cute. So these fit perfectly on a little 6x6 Q-snap if you stitch them on the 18 count, which is what I'm stitching them on. 18 count black Aida by Zweigart. And it's great. They're all DMC. I'm stitching them in all the called for colors, just occasionally switching out a purple as I feel the desire to. And they're cute. They stitch up quick. I can knock one out in a day or 2. They are pretty dense stitching. That's the thing about Prairie Schooler. They're deceptively quick and easy. I can't speak English. Pregnancy brain. They look deceptively easy because there's no fractionals. They use limited color palettes, but Prairie Schoolers are notorious for being very dense in stitching. They're almost full coverage. They're very, very dense in stitching. So these take 2 to 3 days a piece for me, and I'm a pretty quick stitcher, so just bear that in mind, even though they're little. But they're so cute, and it's Easter time, and I felt like stitching springy stuff. So I started that and got 1.5 done. So that is the next thing I worked on. Next thing, I did not get very much on this, but I figured I'd show you because I promised I would show you last time. I didn't show it to you last time, and I promised I would show it to you the next time. And that is my Snooty Parrot sampler, which looks like this by Barbara Anna. And this one, I mostly just finished the first page. And it's not quite there, but it's almost. So there it is. It's beautiful. I am stitching this in all the called for colors, which are all over dyes. And they are all Gentle Arts. Oh, there is one DMC. 3770. Haven't used that yet. They're all Gentle Arts threads. stitching 1/2 on 40 count, and this is 40 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside Linens. And it's beautiful. I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, I've only got 1 page done, but I promised I would show it to you, so I did. I probably only worked on that maybe 2 days in the last month, but hey, progress is progress. Now this is the one that I went gangbusters on during the Olympics, because I needed something I could stitch for long stretches of time, but I didn't want to be super distracted and looking at a chart. So I busted out Liberty's Welcome, and you're gonna see I have almost finished this entire house. It is a huge amount of stitching. It is on 40 count, and this house is enormous, and it is a lot of solid filling in stitching, which is great for something like the Olympics, because all I had to do was like do my windows, do the outline, and then I could just fill in the roof for like 3 or 4 days. And then filled in the windows and the door, did the outline, and I've just been filling in White House. And then you go down to the green. I did Liberty, outlined to the green, and just filled in green. So there was a lot of kind of mindless fill stitching, which worked great for the Olympics, and I'm really happy with it. It's looking so good, guys. I'm not quite done with the white in the house. I had to keep switching back and forth between roof and house and grass when I'd get sick of working with the same color. So there's a little white string kind of hanging off the house because it's not quite done yet. But you can see I carried the border. Ooh. Last time I had kind of stopped the border here. I carried the border through the second page, did the July 4th, 1776, did the eagle, and then here is the house and the grass. So you can see that is so much stitching. I'm going to take it in really close and show you how tiny. Sorry, my hands are shaking. Look at how many stitches are in this thing, guys. It's insane. It is so much stitching. So this is what I did during the Olympics, is just house, 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 and grass. So you can see I still have this little bit and then this side of the house to fill. But everything else is done on the house. The grass is as filled as I'm going to go on this page. When the house is done, I will go down and do this border through the second page, and then I'll be ready to go on, and I'll be halfway done with this piece. I'm probably, stitch count wise, I'm probably already halfway done, because this house is so dense with stitching and the other half of the piece is not. So my guess is I'm probably halfway done with this piece, because you can see that is the halfway point right there between the house and the carriage. So once I get to this side, there's a lot more to do, but it's a lot less dense. So I'm just chugging away on this baby. Considering I started this on January 1st, this was my new year, new start. Well, that's pretty good progress, right? So that is it for whips. That is everything I worked on in the last month. Mostly Liberty's Welcome and my 2 March pieces, with a little bit of Easter Prairie Schooler stitching and a little bit of Barbara Anna sampler stitching thrown in for variety. That's all I have, guys. That's it. I don't have any haul to show you right now. I will have some haul to show you probably sometime this week, which means you won't see it until after baby is born, which means I may never get to show it to you because I might forget. But that's it. I did receive my threads of the month for both February and March from Victorian Motto Threads, and I am loving it. I'm building up quite a lovely collection in my box, guys. I'm obsessed. I love these threads. You know that. Before we talk about the giveaway winner, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I do have a giveaway winner. But before we get to that, I'm going to just give you a quick little update on my plans for the next period of time. However much I get to stitch in the next couple of months, who knows how much I'll get to stitch before I see you again. But I do have 2 things I want to start. Beyond, you know, the occasional small start. I'm not going to count things like my April Cottage or the April Joyful World Sal. I may get those started, I may not. Like I said, I'm not holding myself to any real plans. Like Vonna says, I don't have plans. I have evolving ideas about what I want to work on. I love Vonna. Guys, I love Vonna. And also, we need to make her name a verb, just like people have done with Priscilla. You know, they Priscillify things. I've actually been working on trying to get some things fully finished. Gasp me. Because I want to enter them in my state fair this summer. And I keep thinking, you know, I need to Vonnify that. I don't know why. I need to Vonnify something. I need to fully finish things. Guys, she's amazing. Oh, go watch her last video. Anyway, my evolving ideas of things I want to work on, plans that I have. I want to start 2 bigger projects. They're not huge, but they are bigger. The first one that I've been wanting to start for a while is my Early Americans. I have all of them. I intend to stitch them all on one piece using the beautiful border that Vonna created for her piece and shared so generously and graciously on her blog with anyone who wants to use it. And I have been waiting to start this because I think I'm going to change the colors a little bit. I have all the called for colors, which are a combination of classic colorwork. I think they're all classic colorworks, actually. Yes, I have all the classic colorworks that it calls for, but I think I want to change. You can see they're kind of done in a more primitive color palette. And I think in true Nell fashion, I want to brighten it up a little bit. So I may be swapping some of those classic colorworks out for some Victorian Motto threads as I feel the need. I probably won't do all of them. They probably won't all be Victorian Motto threads. I will use the classic colorworks probably for a lot of the browns. But like the greens and the blues and especially the red, I feel like it needs more pop for me, for my taste. That does look pretty, but I think I want it more red and less bricky colored. So that's an evolving idea / plan that I have, and I will be stitching that on one of my pieces of Picture This Plus fabric I got in the July sale, which they're not doing anymore because we basically killed them dead. I think we swamped them so bad this year that they finally said, okay, we're done. I feel kind of bad about that, but you know. So this is Picture This Plus 32 count Wren. Yes, this is 32 count Wren. It's a little splotchy for me. You guys know I don't do well with heavily modeled things. I like this section. This is nice. This middle part is a little bit splotchy with those big spots, but I think something like this that is meant to look kind of antiqued and vintage, I think it'll look good on this. And I'm trying to embrace the modeling. I'm trying to expand my horizons. So that is the plan, is to stitch it on that. The other thing I want to start, which again, I have not started yet because I cannot, for the life of me, pick the right green, is my Glendon Place, Eggs All Around, for springtime. Now, this green that they have charted here, you can see it's an overdye, and they call for Gentle Art Spring Grass, which I don't have that thread, but from the picture, and I know pictures are not accurate, so I need to pull out all the colors and actually look at them. From the picture, it's a little dark for me. It's a little too almost foresty green. I would rather this be really light and bright and vibrant and Easter time. Same with the eggs. You can see there's almost, and again, I don't know if this is just the picture or if this is accurate, but it's a little dark for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out all of the DMC colors that it calls for, which there's a lot. This is all DMC, and this is all DMC. I have the Krennic colors and I have the beads, But I'm gonna pull out all of these thread colors because there's a lot of colors in this, and look at how the colors play together. If they are too dark and muted for me, then I will be doing some swapping. I will probably use a lot of DMC. I may swap in some over dyes, whether Victorian Motto threads or just some of my other over dyes as needed. The Krennics obviously are all very bright and sparkly and beautiful, and so are the beads. So I just want to make sure the colors are going to play well together. But that green is bugging me because I don't know what color I want that green. I need to, like I said, I need to pull out all the DMCs and get the egg colors nailed down as to what colors I want to use in the eggs, and then I will pick my green. And I think I haven't talked to her yet about this, but I know she does this, so I feel fairly confident in saying this. I may actually ask Nancy Turner from Victorian Motto to help me custom dye a green that works, unless I can find something that I really like. So far, the winning color is one of the colors I used in my March Cottage, which is Mint Julep. But even this is almost too dark. I want it lighter and more of like a light grass green. I don't know. Greens are the bane of my existence recently. Just cannot nail it down. So that is something else I want to start, and I need to start playing with some colors. I am stitching that on a 28 count cream ivory even weave. It's a big square piece. I believe this is Charles Craft Monaco, and I believe I got it at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's or something. But it's a big piece, it's square, it's the perfect size for this. This is obviously kind of a mandala style piece, and the ivory will really help the colors sing. I want it to be all about the colors of the piece and not about the fabric. So just using some 28 count Monaco, I will stitch 2 over 2 with cotton thread, probably in a combination of DMCs and over dyes. So that's the other thing I want to start. And then obviously my April Cottage, my April Joyful World piece. There's going to be some new starts in my future. I'm also feeling the pull to get back to some of my other whips that I haven't worked on in a while. I'm probably going to put my Liberty's Welcome and my Snooty Parrots away, and I may pull my Sheep Virtues back out because I'm getting awfully close to finishing that one, and I kind of want to get it done. Same with my Lizzie Kate Less is More series that I've been working. I'm over halfway done on that, so I'd really like to get back to that one, but who knows? They're evolving ideas, right? They're not plans, right, Vana? Other than that, that's all I have. I will hopefully be getting some fully finished items done in the next 6 months. Our state fair here in Missouri is in August. So if you are a Missourian, enter the state fair with me. That feels weird to encourage people to compete with me in cross stitch, but hey, the more of us that do it, the more fun it is, right? And I'm gonna enter some pieces. I decided I was gonna do that this year, so I'm having some things framed. I'm Vanifying a few things. I'm Priscillifying a few things. It's gonna be great. And I've already started kind of the preparing. That's the word. The preparing to do the fully finishing on that. But I have time. It's not until August, so I have some time. I'm not in a huge rush with baby coming. So that's it as far as stitching. Let's talk about the giveaway winner. Guys, I had over 500 comments on my last video. Thank you all for saying such lovely, wonderful things. I had so many of you compliment me on how I was looking, and a few people said that they wished they had looked so put together and lovely when they were pregnant, and I just have to laugh and clarify that most days I have no makeup on, my hair is pulled back in a greasy ponytail because Mama doesn't have time with 2 toddler boys to do anything. I tend to film on Sundays because that's a day where we don't have a lot going on, and I've been to church. So I do my hair and I put makeup on like today. So lest you think that I'm some sort of magical pregnancy unicorn, let me assure you that I look just as disheveled and rumpled as most heavily pregnant women do at this stage. So thank you for your lovely complimentary comments and for saying that I looked nice. It made me feel good, but I assure you I am not a magical pregnancy unicorn. But yeah, I had over 500 comments, which was super fun. I read every single one of them, and the very next morning after it closed, I went ahead and did the random comment selector, and I will insert the screenshot I took that day right here.